a lot of people in SharePoint that are pretty terrified about what's going on in the social space. They get the feedback from their end users that SharePoint's not good enough, it's not user-friendly enough, it's not efficient enough. And rather than use the internal systems that IT is providing or the business is providing, they'd rather use Facebook, or they'd rather use YouTube, or they'd rather use WordPress. Inside the company, there's a lot of data leakage, and people start to lose control of that important company data, and you know, it all starts to break down. And we had a good example with the company that I did some work at, that they would have people walking around on rigs. Every camera's got a phone in it now. They'd find a safety problem. They'd take a photograph of the safety problem and then put it up on Flickr. And they'd do that because that was easy. Uploading to Flickr is really easy. But there's nothing more terrifying than having safety issues up on a public website like that. It's just my opinion on how these sites succeeded and how they got to where they are today. So the first one is Facebook. I think we've probably all seen the movie. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal website. Now there's a really important thing to be said about 750 million active users. They define an active user as someone who logs on at least once every 2 days. Okay, you talk about sticky websites, this is an incredibly sticky website. The key thing about Facebook is they won the social graph. Okay, they were the first ones to really understand that a map of who it is that we know is important to nearly every application. Next one is Twitter. Facebook is kind of like, I'm your friend, I'm your friend, you're my friend. You know, it's kind of this reciprocal relationship. Whereas Twitter doesn't have that reciprocal relationship. It's very much, I follow you, so it's a one-way thing. You can choose to follow me back, but you don't have to. No one would have thought that limiting your status update to 140 characters would be a good idea. But that's a positive constraint that really drove the success of the platform. And again, I'll come back to that from SharePoint a little bit later on. I'm pretty terrified of going to the YouTube homepage because you end up, 3 or 4 hours of your life disappear while you surf around from video to video. I mean, it's an incredible thing. So the innovative thing that YouTube did is they said, well, we'll host the videos for you and you can put them wherever you like. So you can put the video inside of MySpace. That's not a problem, we don't mind. And that was a bit of a mental flip because at the time, everyone was really focused on getting eyeballs to their site. So if my video is on that site, that doesn't help me because it's on somebody else's site, but actually it did. And they had this massive land grab where people started to use YouTube so they could put videos on my site. So they really piggybacked in a big way off the success of my site. They made somebody else's platform better, effectively. They improved my site, and as a result, they became the best-of-breed video portal and got bought by Google, and well, the rest is history. So what I tried to do is sort of say, okay, well, those are the competitors of SharePoint. So let's build a big matrix and sort of work out where SharePoint competes. If you were to take some of this innovation and translate it into the enterprise, then you would absolutely do it on the SharePoint platform. Is SharePoint the best blogging platform? No way. Is it the best social networking platform? No way. Is it the best wiki? Nope. It's not really the best at anything, except the best at doing everything. That's kind of what it's good at. And believe it or not, that's really important inside of organizations because you want to be able to unify the experience. It's also a rich platform for partners. So I've been doing a bit of work on this lately. There are more than 4,000 partners that build solutions on top of SharePoint. So if SharePoint isn't good enough for you, we'll go and find someone who makes SharePoint good enough for you. And that's kind of the story as well. And obviously they integrate tightly with Office. So what I've done here is just written Twitter for SharePoint. So I've taken the product Twitter and I've tried to emulate what Twitter does here on SharePoint. I'll take you through an example. So I might be a small company. I'm only maybe 30 people, but I sell a product globally. And I've got a dispersed sales organisation. So I've got some salespeople in the Asia Pacific region, some in Europe, some in India, some in the US. And we want to be able to talk to each other. And we like Twitter. We use Twitter a lot. But we don't want to use the public Twitter for communicating within our team because that will reveal sales information. So what I need is Twitter for SharePoint. I've just bought Office 365, which is the hosted version of SharePoint. It costs me, I think it's about $6 per head per month. And that would be perfect. If only I could have Twitter sitting on there on SharePoint. So with the solution I'm about to show you, what that person could do is go to Site Actions. They could go to More Options. And going down to Blank and Custom, they'll see that they've got this TeamTalk solution here. And that's the solution that I've installed. If you hang around, I'm going to show you an app store, which will show you how this gets installed. And away it goes. So behind the scenes, SharePoint is grabbing the template, it's unpacking it, and it's creating a brand new site for you, which hopefully is going to meet our needs as far as a Twitter solution for SharePoint. And here it is. So what we've got is a text box, which we can only write 140 characters in. So that's fantastic. I'm going to make an update now. This is an update, and I'm going to click on the update button. Well, Away we go. So now I've started to create my stream. So here's my stream of messages starting to appear on the left-hand side here. What I can do is go down to that message and I can actually reply to that message. So here's a reply.